Hello students, in continuity of chapter 17, breathing and exchange of gases. In this lecture, we are going to study about mechanism of breathing, respiratory volumes and capacities, and about the action of gases. In previous lecture, we have already studied about respiration and breathing, basic concepts regarding respiration and breathing, comparison between respiration and breathing, respiratory organs and human respiratory system. So, now you can understand easily mechanism of breathing. Breathing involves two stages, as you know very well, inhalation and exhalation, or inspiration and expiration. Within these two stages, inspiration, inhalation, during which atmospheric air is drawn in, and during exhalation, by which the alveolar air is released out. Movement of air into and out of the lungs is carried out by creating a pressure gradient. That is important here. This movement is actually carried out by pressure gradient between the lungs and atmosphere. Inhalation can occur if the pressure within the lungs, that is intrapulmonary pressure, is less than the atmospheric pressure. So we can say there is negative pressure in the lungs with respect to atmospheric pressure. That is important here. Inhalation can occur if the pressure within the lungs, that is less than atmospheric pressure. Similarly, exhalation takes place when the intrapulmonary pressure is higher than the atmospheric pressure. So we can say it's a opposite condition compared to inhalation. Diaphragm and a specialized set of muscles, external and internal intercostals between the ribs, help in generation of such gradients. That is important here. Which parts of body they are involved? Diaphragm and specialized set of muscles, external and internal intercostal muscles between the ribs, help in generation of such gradient. Inhalation is initiated by the contraction of diaphragm, which increases the volume of thoracic chamber in the anterior-posterior axis. The contraction of external internal costal muscles lifts up the ribs and the sternum, causing an increase in the volume of the thoracic chamber in the dorsoventral axis. Overall increase in the thoracic volume causes a similar increase in pulmonary volume. Increase in pulmonary volume decreases the intrapulmonary pressure to less than the atmospheric pressure, which forces the air from outside to move into the lungs. It is inhalation, as you know. The relaxation of the diaphragm and the intercostal muscle return the diaphragm and sternum to their normal position. That is important here. Again, relaxation of diaphragm and the intercostal muscle return the diaphragm and sternum to their normal positions and reduce the thoracic volume and thereby the pulmonary volume also. It leads to an increase in intrapulmonary pressure to slightly above the atmospheric pressure, causing the expulsion of air from the lungs. It means that exhalation. We have the ability to increase the strength of inhalation and exhalation with the help of additional muscles in the abdomen. That is important here. We have such a type of ability to increase the strength of this mechanism, inhalation and exhalation, with the help of additional muscles in the abdomen region. If you talk about it, on an average, a healthy human breathes, that is the 12 to 16 times per minute. Volume of air involved in breathing movements can be estimated by using a spirometer, which helps in clinical assessment of pulmonary functions. So this way, the mechanism of breathing is carried out in our body, human body. Mainly two stages are there. It means that inhalation and exhalation process, and overall this mechanism, entire mechanism take place, that is known as mechanism of breathing. Now let's study figure related with mechanism of breathing, that is inhalation and exhalation process. Left hand side figure, you can see, can you guess it? Is it inhalation or exhalation? Left and right, both figure, compare yourself, and you can assume now, as per we have discussed in theory here, that is which mechanism, which figure exactly related with inhalation and which one is actually showing exhalation process here. First, left side figure. Here you can see air is entering lungs. So from atmosphere, air is entering inside lung. At that time you can see volume of thoracic cavity chamber increases as air rushes inside. Here ribs and sternum also raise. You can see in figure also this thing. Here diaphragm, movement of diaphragm, you can see that is the contraction condition. So this way, entire mechanism when air enters lung region at that time, which changes occur, you can study here. Okay. Now let's study right hand side figure, that is about exhalation mechanism. Now you can see opposite condition is there. When air expelled from lungs, you can see the direction, it means that CO2 is removed outside of the body. When this mechanism take place, which changes occur during this mechanism? Clearly you can see in this figure here. Now diaphragm relax and arc upwards. That is, if we are comparing both figure, now we can come to know about what is difference between this mechanism. It is a opposite direction. Volume of thoracic cavity, thoracic chamber, here it decreases. Ribs and sternum, they return to their original position. You can see here. And as a result of this all changes, this all mechanism, now air expelled from lungs. It means that it removes outside from lungs into atmosphere. So, by studying this figure, we can get clear idea about this mechanism of breathing. It means that during inhalation, when air enters inside the lungs, which changes occur, and during exhalation, when air expelled outside of the lungs, you can see the changes clearly we can observe by studying this figure. So this way, entire mechanism of breathing take place in human body. Respiratory volumes and capacities. These are some terms related with our respiratory system, process of breathing, and it is important to study about these terms also. First, tidal volume. In short, it is also known as PV. What is it? Volume of air inspired or expired during a normal respiration. That is known as tidal volume. Now, exactly what is it? What is figure? That is approximately 500 ml. It means that in healthy men it can inspire or expire approximately, that is 6000 to 8000 ml of air per minute, we can say. So it is about TV, tidal volume. Second, IRV, that is inspiratory reserve volume. Additional volume of air a person can inspire by forcible inspiration, inhalation. Okay. Its amount average 2500 ml to 3000 ml, and that is known as IRV. Third one, that is expiratory reserve volume. In short, it is also known as ERV. It is an additional volume of air a person can expire by a forcible expiration process. See? And it is average 1000 to 1100 ml. In short, it is known as ERV. Fourth one, that is RV, residual volume. Volume of air is remaining in the lungs even after a forcible expiration. So we can say, you understand, if air is also remain inside the lung after forcible exhalation also, it averages 1100 to 1200 ml. By adding up a few respiratory volumes, describe these four types. Now one can derive various pulmonary capacity which can be used in clinical diagnosis. So we can understand this type of calculation, this volumes and capacities, actually they are related with, they can be useful for clinical diagnosis related with our respiratory system. Inspiratory capacity, IC. It is total volume of air a person can inspire after a normal expiration. This includes tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume. Now we know about both these terms. So in short, we can say IC is equal to TV plus IRV. Now EC, expiratory capacity. Total volume of air a person can expire after a normal inspiration. It includes what? Tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume. So we can say EC is equal to TV plus ERV in short. Vital capacity, that is VC. It is a maximum volume of air a person can breathe after a forced expiration. It includes what? Here you can see in summary type of equation that ERV, TV and IRV, or the maximum volume of air a person can breathe out after a forced inspiration. So in short, we can say VC is equal to ERV plus TV plus IRV. Next is TLC, total lung capacity. It is the total volume of air that is accommodated in the lungs at the end of a forced inspiration. So we can say TLC is equal to RV plus ERV plus TV plus IRV, or vital capacity plus residual volume. So this way now we can see So exactly related with respiratory volumes and capacity, and by knowing this term actually we can also calculate if we are having the value of 1, and we can find out the value of other also, and these are used as a clinical diagnosis. Exchange of gases. As we know, alveoli are the primary site of exchange of gases. This statement is very important. Primary site of exchange of gases in human body, that is alveoli. Exchange of gases also occur between blood and tissues. So we can say at two sides it take place. First alveoli to blood, and second between blood and tissues. Exchange of gases also occur between blood and tissues. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged in these sites by simple diffusion, mainly based on pressure or concentration gradient. What is diffusion? You all have studied this thing. So, movement from higher to lower concentration of substance. Solubility of the gas as well as the thickness or the membrane involved in diffusion are also some important factor that can affect the rate of diffusion. Pressure contributed by an individual gas in the mixture of gases is called partial pressure, and it is represented as PO2 for oxygen and PCO2 for carbon dioxide. So, this way pressure contributed by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called partial pressure here, and PO2 for oxygen and PCO2 for carbon dioxide. Partial pressure of these two gases, it means oxygen and carbon dioxide, in the atmospheric air and the two sites of diffusion, that is we can study. It actually indicates the concentration gradient for oxygen from alveoli to blood and blood to tissue. Similarly, a gradient is present for carbon dioxide in the opposite direction. It means that from tissue to blood and blood to alveoli. As the solubility of carbon dioxide is 20 to 25 times higher than that of oxygen, amount of carbon dioxide that can be fused through the diffusion membrane per unit difference in partial pressure is much higher compared to oxygen. That is important here. Solubility of carbon dioxide is 20 to 25 times higher than oxygen. The amount of carbon dioxide that can diffuse through the diffusion membrane per unit difference in partial pressure is much higher if we compare with oxygen. Diffusion membrane is made up of three major layers. These are thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, second endothelium of alveolar capillaries, and third basement substance in between them. Its total thickness is much less than a millimeter. Therefore, all the factors in our body are favorable for diffusion of oxygen from alveoli to tissues and that of CO2 from tissues to alveoli. So this way in human body exchange of gases take place, that is exchange of gases where the primary site of exchange of this gas is oxygen and carbon dioxide, that is alveoli, and this way it take place in between alveoli to blood and blood to tissues. Now let's study diagrammatic representation of exchange of gases at the alveolus and the body tissues with blood and transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Here in this figure you can study the exchange of gases this way, where both during inhalation and exhalation, it means that entry of oxygen inside lungs and removal of carbon dioxide from lungs. You can see here. You can study it easily by studying this figure. Here the transportation of blood through heart. You can see one side deoxygenated blood and another side that is oxygenated blood. Now the site of this exchange of gases, that is alveoli, you can see here PO2 and PCO2. Here it is value is also given. Pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, their conduction of blood, systematic veins and arteries. Then here both sides, here you can see the partial pressure during this process, that is PO2 and PCO2, and the exchange of this gases also at the site of body tissue. It means that between blood and tissue. So both type of exchange of gases we can study here, that is alveoli to blood and blood to body tissue. It means that during inhalation, when oxygen enters, it enters the lung and further transported, and removal of carbon dioxide during exhalation process. So by studying this figure, we can come to know about the entire mechanism of exchange of gases in human body. Figure related with, that is section of alveolus with a pulmonary capillary. As we have discussed here, that is role of alveoli. See, that is arrangement of this diffusion membrane, which is made up of three major layers, as we know very well here. That is the thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, endothelium of alveolar capillary, and the basement substance in between them. Here you can clearly study this anatomy. Alveolar wall we can see here, one cell, thick layer, basement membrane, basement substance we can see, alveoli cavity, where exchange of gases take place. It means that entry of oxygen and removal of carbon dioxide. Arrow suggests the direction of this exchange of gases here. As well as you can study the anatomy of blood capillary. Within this you can also see RBC, red blood cell arrangement. So this way, now by studying this diagrammatic representation, actually it's a section of an alveolus with a pulmonary capillary, we can also understand the mechanism of this exchange of gases easily.